Hello and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be playing the Multitasker, and as you can see here, we have plus 20% damage. You can equip up to 12 weapons at a time, so we get an additional 6 weapon slots, and minus 5% damage for every weapon you have. So that means we have negative 40% damage once we have 12 weapons equipped. However, we can make that up by having up to 4 maxed out weapon trees. So in this case, if we had the cacti club, 6 cacti clubs, right, we'd have full maxed out primitive, full maxed out heavy, and then let's say the lightning shiv, we would have fully maxed out precise and fully maxed out elemental. So we want to choose a weapon that we can take advantage of. And in my opinion, I think melee weapons are the way to go. You can, of course, go with something like an SMG, but I personally think melee weapons are the best. And I think that the shuriken or lightning shiv can both be quite good. In this case, we're going to go ahead and use the lightning shiv. We have never used it before. I think it's a perfectly fine weapon. It's just that a lot of characters, it's not the optimal weapon. But in this case, we want to get that precise bonus going nice and early, because precise gives us a ton of free crit chance, and elemental damage is just elemental damage, right? It works on itself, pretty much. The lightning shiv buffs itself. So in this case, we do not want range damage, right? We only want melee damage or other stats, like crit chance. Though I will say melee damage a little bit better early on. Melee damage and damage percent are quite important. We could also go for the shuriken or something like the icicle. This is actually a new weapon, right? That just got added in the recent update not too long ago. So we could actually combo these two together. However, I don't think it's that good personally, though it does scale 100% with elemental damage, so it could be decent. We're going to go ahead and skip it. Take a lightning shiv and the bag. So I'm actually going to take the bag here. Normally I wouldn't buy an item in the first few shops because I'd be looking for weapons specifically. But in this case, I think it's completely fine. And we could take this, right? But the issue is, even though it does have very nice weapon stats here, 15 max HP, 24% damage, it scales its passive with range damage, and it has weaker melee damage because of that, or melee damage scaling. So we don't want to go with that. We don't have to. We could have taken the elemental slime to get some elemental damage for our daggers, but I'm not going to say it's a bait, but melee damage is definitely more effective than elemental damage, even though the lightning is doing some work, right? But melee damage will scale with both of our weapons, so that is what we would like to have. Okay, and we could take luck or harvesting, something like that, but we're going to go and skip and take more crit chance. Okay, perfect. Here we could take a claw, but once again, we're just looking for lightning shivs and something else to go with that. So here we could actually go with the torch. The torch is interesting. I don't think it's particularly strong, but it is interesting. It's not bad. It's just that the crit damage scaling is only 1.5, and then it scales half with melee and half with elemental damage. I think we could do better, to be honest. Medieval and blunt. So this is an interesting one. This could definitely work quite well. I do think the medieval weapon is not bad at all. The blade is also quite good. However, both of these are still not that strong, and we can just go ahead and pick up more lightning shivs for now without worrying too much. Though I will say that any of those weapons could work, right? The blade could work. I think the medieval shield could work. They're both fine. Even the cacti club could work. It's just that it's not the most efficient, and I do think we can get something a little bit better. They're definitely better weapons than others, just because you get more bonuses from their weapon trees. So I'm trying to find one that is basically 100% effective. It's a good way to put it. Damage percent, completely fine. We love damage percent. Let's re-roll. Okay, nice. So we were just looking for a tier 2 or 3 upgrade. And here we go, another lightning shiv. We're not going to take the knife because we can only get up to 6 precise weapons, and we're already stacking lightning shivs. So we're going to go ahead and skip. Again, Cacti Club is back. We don't want that in this case. Again, Primal, Precise, and Medieval. We don't really want that either, to be honest. I'll skip one more time. Again, Primitive And then the chopper here, melee damage, lifesteal. I will say I think the stick is not bad. The stick is completely fine to take. I almost want to, because it's quite cheap, right? 16 materials, you can see compared to all the other weapons, is significantly cheaper. That's just a feature of the game, right? We didn't do anything in particular. And we're going to go ahead and save the lightning shift. We don't want to stack icicle. The icicle does have, it seems like, pretty good sort of 2 unit damage. So it'll hit up to 2 units. Has decent crit chance, and it scales completely with elemental damage. The issue is this though, right? We don't really want to scale with elemental damage. We'd prefer to scale with melee damage, and then go with something like the stick, right? 100% melee damage scaling, and the shiv 80%. But this gives crit and elemental damage, and this gives max HP. I'll say that if we saw a sword, which has blade and medieval, I believe, a sword would be amazing. I would love to use a sword. That might be the best option in my head. Maybe the sword. Because, but the thing about the sword is you can only find tier 2 or above swords. You cannot find a tier 1 sword. It's a little difficult to find, especially since you are in not really, it's not really possible to find in the early shops. You just have to get lucky later to find it. So, for example, if you found a blade right now, I might be willing to sell the stick and switch to that. Melee damage is worth it. We only lose 1 HP regen, completely fine. Attack speed, of course. And let's go ahead and buy the lightning shiv and reroll. So yeah, you see here. Oh, another back. You see no blade still. No blade. We could take this. This is honestly, I think this is too lucky. I don't want to take this. I think it's a little too lucky. I'm not going to do that to you guys. So let's go ahead and just have a normal run. Get another stick. And you can see here, our damage is dropping, right? We have negative 12% damage percent, so we're definitely going to have to get more of that. But our stick damage is not bad, right? 14 per hit, so it's completely fine. Upgrading our weapons and getting damage percent will end up fixing everything, right? This character, the main issue, the main drawback is that you lose so much damage percent. But the second you get enough to sort of negate that effect, you are very powerful because you just end up having 6 additional weapons that are giving you additional bonus stats. And in this case, right, we're getting a bunch of crit chance, max health, and elemental damage. Though elemental damage is not super strong, I still think the precise weaponry using the shivs can be pretty good. Okay, damage percent, perfect. Just like we were saying, we're up to 0 damage percent, so 0%. We get 4 more weapons, of course we'll be back to negative 20. That's okay. We will make sure we get rid of it. Another stick. More melee damage is kind of nice. Losing crit doesn't feel good, but melee damage is quite important right now, so we're going to go ahead and take it. Another stick, and a hedgehog. Okay. So something you can do here is actually go ahead and combine some of your lower tier weapons, like this. So you just end up with this, right? You don't end up getting their full set bonuses. That's okay, that's completely okay. Just having the raw damage is much better early game, in the early waves. Because I'm sitting here, wave 6, right, with a bunch of tier 2 weapons, and I don't have to deal with the negative damage percent effect that much. We are actually technically debuffed right now by our character. We're losing 10% damage because we have 6 weapons total. But it's still okay though. We're not too worried about it for now. So this may be, the multitasker may in a sense be the weakest character that we've played so far. But if you noticed earlier, I skipped that, I skipped the elemental hammer, which would have been a really strong item for us. But I just didn't want to take it because it was a little bit too lucky, to be honest. This is completely fine. Elemental damage. Range damage we do not need at all though. Speed is okay, and melee damage is great. Okay, more melee damage, and attack speed. Okay. Another elemental lightning dagger, lightning shiv. Explosive and elemental. This is interesting. This is also a new weapon. I believe this starts at tier 2. So I don't think you can find a tier 1 fireball. I may be wrong on that though. And yeah, there's nothing else to buy here, so let's go ahead and buy one more shop. Injection is quite nice. Damage percent. So yeah, we're going to get a lot more max HP, crit chance, and elemental damage when we have 12 weapons. I definitely think this is not even the strongest combo, but it's kind of hard to tell you guys a set weapon to take. I chose a sort of, I don't want to say mediocre one. The lightning shiv is okay, but you know, elemental damage is not the most flexible stat, and it definitely doesn't have the strongest weapons that you can find consistently. So it is, yeah, definitely not necessarily the strongest stat. You can play with a lot of different weapons on Multitasker and end up winning. This is just one possible combination. And like I said, I think taking precise to start is always quite good. Just that extra crit chance. And then if you find some sort of medieval or blade weapon, something of the sort, you can take any of them and it can end up being pretty strong. Here we're going to take some crit chance actually. Another lightning shiv and another bag. So we're actually going to have 3 out of 3 bags now. And that should pay us back pretty quickly. Here, nothing really interesting. Another example, you could take the claw, right? The claw is also quite good to start. It's a precise weapon instead of the lightning shiv. Basically, anything that's precise, I'd say, can end up working quite well. You can just experiment a little on your own and see what weapon you enjoy using the most. 20 luck is quite nice here, to be honest. And so is the acid HP, since we don't care too much about dodge, and we also don't really care about knockback. And you can see our damage is not bad. We're doing okay. And if you think about it, right, with the multitasker, the way it works is you have twice the amount of weapons. So, you know, if we think about it really simplistically, we have double the damage, right? Twice the weapons means we should have double the damage output. So if we're dealing 100 per second regularly, then we should be dealing 200 per second when we have double the weapons rate. Obviously, it's not exactly how it works in actuality, but you know, let's just keep it simple. So that means if you have double the weapons and you have 40% reduced damage, then you are still dealing 10%, right, more additional damage, or 20% more additional damage because you have double the weapons, right? So even though the damage percent may seem like a negative, just having more weapons does mean you end up dealing more damage regardless. And then here, attack speed and crit chance. So they want to give us a difficult choice. Attack speed is definitely better now, but I will actually take crit chance because it has better scaling in this case. We're going to go ahead and combine the weapons again. Keep our weapons to tier 2 upgraded. Go ahead and buy acid and reroll or buy this. This is actually not bad. Generally, I would skip the energy bracelet, but in this case, you can see it's actually pretty good, right? We get elemental damage, which applies to all of our shivs, which shoot out 2 projectiles, and we also get the crit chance, which applies to all of our weapons, and is a big deal. So yeah, it's looking good so far. Then also the ball and chain. I wonder if we could take that here. The only issue is our attack speed is already pretty close to that 0.75. So in the armor and damage, it's not really that powerful. So I don't think I want to go with it. I can't think of the character that would be able to use this effectively yet. I'm sure once we get to the character, I'll be like, oh, you know, wow. This character would love the ball and chain, actually, now that I think about it. But yeah, we're doing completely fine, right? We haven't really been at risk the entire run. That's kind of thanks to the sticks. Sticks have really high base damage. Like, the base damage is, I think it's like the highest out of all the normal tier 1 weapons. The stick has, I think, by far the highest base damage, because you get additional base damage every time you upgrade the stick and every time you get more sticks. So they just end up having really high stat numbers on them. And the drawback to that, to be honest, I don't really feel like there's a big drawback to using sticks. At least not when you're playing normal 20 wave mode. So this can be very nice, right? More crit chance is great. Don't really want any of these. Okay, armor. Make ourselves a little bit safer. 70% less damage. And then buy the bunny and the energy bracelet. Okay, reroll. Oh, okay. this is quite nice. I would actually love to take this, just because it would be giving us damage percent, but it's unnecessary. Let's not do that. We'll take a Scar though for some XP gain and a Mastery. So this is a, of course you can see from a lot of our items, melee damage, right? Elemental, melee, ranged. But most of the weapons, or sort of most of the items, sort of separate into one specific side, melee or range damage. That's why you want to do at least use all of the same kind, either melee or ranged. In our case, we're playing with only melee weapons. So Mastery is very nice here. And this is also not bad. Um, I don't think I'm going to take it, but it's definitely not bad. Also, the Sharp Tooth is a completely new weapon. This is interesting. You get a lifesteal for every missing 20% missing health. So maybe if you took this, it would actually be you could have an interesting run with that as well. Like I said, I'm sure lots of weapons work. The Multitasker is one of the characters that's hard to say, I'll play him this way, and this gives him the highest chance to win. I think it's hard to do that because they really, realistically, a ton of his weapons are pretty, I feel like equally likely to win the run and equally as strong as one another. Though again, I think the using precise weapons plus combination of something else, like the sticks in this case, which also gives us max HP, is a good combo. Plus the sticks, since they have such high base damage, the crit chance is a lot more effective. Since, if our stick hits for 100 damage, then if it crits, it goes up, a lot more than something that's critting from, let's say, 25 damage. This is obviously an hyperbole, but I'm sure it gets the point across a little bit. Okay, 600 materials. Another lost duck. We probably shouldn't lose elemental damage, but I'm still going to take it. Even though we probably shouldn't be doing that. Okay, more crit chance. We could take this, but it'll almost get us to 1 HP regen. And crit chance is just, crit chance. Huge. Blindfold, same thing. More crit chance. Coupon, of course. Always buy the coupon. Very nice weapon, or very nice item. Silver bullet. Great for killing bosses. Another scar. Another lightning shiv. And continue. And there is the sword I was talking about. Right, melee damage, armor, dodge, and lifesteal. So, for example, if you had this and you had the claw, which gives dodge percent and also gives precise crit chance, then this could be a really good combo, right? Just claws plus swords, because they all scale off melee damage, and having attack speed is beneficial for both of them. Again, we're going to take another duck, even though it's not the most efficient thing to do, since we're losing elemental damage on our daggers. It's still quite fine. I think having that luck is going to pay off in the long run. And we made it to the Pursuer wave, and you can see we're clearing them out pretty quickly. So I'd say we're strong enough as of right now. Of course, we can get much stronger, but it feels like we're not doing bad because as long as you can clear these Pursuers, right, these really tanky enemies by wave 11, your damage should be in a good place for the rest of the run. We're getting a little bit cornered. It's just because of our weapon choice, right? Sticks plus shivs are not the best at clearing out enemies that are far away. We're kind of stuck hitting them in melee range. Okay, kind of walked into that. It's completely fine. The wave's about to be over. You can see the timer. Okay, easy enough. Attack speed will definitely take now. We definitely want some more attack speed. And another stick and a ritual. Okay, we're sitting at 5 sticks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 daggers. Boiling water is quite nice. We're going to take that. Another lightning shiv. Oh, lifesteal. Okay, so the whetstone lifesteal is actually a lot more effective than HP regen. Obviously because you have double the weapons. So I think taking this is not bad. Normally I would kind of skip that though. Oh, this is also quite good. Okay, so weapon damage additionally scales with 10% elemental damage, crit chance, and elemental damage. Burning activates slower. We do not have any burning, nor do we care about getting burning. This just means we get more raw damage and crit chance. So this is a new item as well. I've never had the opportunity to use it like this, but I do think in this run, this item works very well. Okay, and just moving around. Be careful with the bruisers charging at you. I'd say in this wave, as long as you're focusing the pursuers so they don't speed up, you should be fine. Focus pursuers and dodge the bruisers. And you can see we haven't really taken many tank stats, but we're sitting at 52 max health. That's just thanks to leveling up, plus the primitive weapon set. And clearing up the pursuers again. And since the bruisers here have such a long cooldown after they charge, you can just walk up to them after they charge and go ahead and kill them before they charge again. And range, okay. We're actually going to go ahead and take this, so we can get a little bit of range, up to nearly 50. That is more than enough for me. And then we have the Frozen Heart, bunch of elemental damage, crit chance, and additional weapon damage scaling. So now we have 10% elemental damage scaling on these, and on our sticks. Okay, so now all of our weapons actually scale with elemental damage, which means we want more elemental damage, right? Ugly Tooth, we'll go ahead and take that. It's completely fine. Reroll one time. We found an Acid. Okay, Acid is quite nice. Coffee, also quite nice. And honestly, I kind of want all of these. Our damage percent will get to 0 after buying all of these, but I think a flat 0% is not even bad, since you do have double the weapons. Like you'll see how much damage we deal once we fight a mini boss soon. It's not super crazy, like Loud. I think the Loud run, once again, that the character is maybe underrated. I feel like people underappreciate how strong he is, and that might just be because he has a very sort of unassuming character trait, which is just 50% more enemies and 30% more damage. That's it, right? It doesn't sound like anything crazy, but having so many more enemies means you also get so many more materials. Yeah, again, we're playing Multitasker now, so at this point in the run, I'd say having similar stats does. If you can even have way better weapons than us as well. You could be using blades. You could be using that elemental mace, which I skipped in the earlier in the run. There's a lot of very good weapons. I would not say the lightning shiv is by any means the strongest weapon you could find. Oh, this we actually take, since the elemental damage affects everything in our weapon kit right now. Crit chance, beautiful. And then we're gonna go ahead and buy all of these and reroll. A snail, okay. We really need some more room in our shop, or more materials. We're not really clearing out the shop properly. We're losing a lot of reroll value. Yeah, okay. Everything's going fine. And again, this run is pretty much over now. I'd say in Brotato, I kind of mentioned this in most of my videos, but in Brotato, once you get to these later waves, even just double-digit waves, on most characters, the run is just over at that point. There are some characters who are a little bit strange with their scaling, and they're not necessarily even strong once you get to wave 14, like we are right now. But I feel like most of the characters scale well enough that by the time you hit wave 11, you're already quite strong, and the run is just about maxing out your stats and optimizing them a little bit to make sure you don't end up dying, and to make sure you are killing enemies quickly enough. Okay, so I did mention HP regen not being super useful, but in this case, I mean, 10 HP regen is like a double tier 4 upgrade, so not taking this is really silly. As you can see, we just went from negative HP regen to 9 HP regen. Oh, and we got brain 3 elemental damage. We don't care that much about armor. More elemental damage is really nice. Snail, one of my favorite items. Reduce enemy speed. Crit chance, we're almost at 100. We will go ahead and take that. And more crit chance, 92%. Okay. And then a whetstone again. Negative 15 knockback. We definitely take this. Just get some more lifesteal. And then ranged elemental. We get elemental damage. And we can also take the alien eyes if we like. I do think it's quite strong. This is also quite strong because we get the HP regen on top of the melee damage plus HP. Okay, let's see how long this takes. We start hitting the boss at 58 seconds or 59 seconds, I think. Let's try to hit it non-stop to make sure that we get the fastest kill possible. Okay, so that took about 15 seconds. I'd say that's pretty average for a decent boss kill time. 15 seconds is pretty average, yeah. If you can do it in 15 seconds, you should be completely fine at this point in your run. Let's say that's like on pace for a nice, smooth, you know, no problem run. We do have pretty low armor, though. We have, I think, only one additional armor, or one armor as of right now. So getting a little bit more would definitely make the run a lot safer. And we're just clearing out all the enemies. Okay, very easy. Okay, interesting. So 10 HP regen and increasing HP regen as the wave goes on. And then we also lose 3 though. I'm just gonna go ahead and take it. Why not? It's kind of cute. 12% damage is nice. We had 0 a second ago. And then speed, right? We could take speed or luck in this case, since our luck is a little low. But I think just taking speed is perfectly fine. And then here, get the defective steroids. It gives us HP regen. Baby elephant for HP regen is also fine. And then alien eyes before re-rolling again. And now here, what do we want? I'd say this plus this are both really good. Cyclops Swarm is great. Just damage percent is insane, right? We have so many weapons, damage percent has a bigger impact. And then this also gives HP regen alongside attack speed and range, which means I'm taking it. I'm also thinking the warrior helmet is good here. Since we have 0 armor, this would just give us some safety. 3 armor is 17% damage reduction. That will make us a lot safer. Especially since we have such a big HP bar. Again, we have 66 max health. So reducing damage taken by 20% makes us that much tankier. And it's also important to remember, since we have so much lifesteal from all the whetstones, and we also have a bunch of HP regen from the fairy, that means that armor is even more valuable than HP. Because HP regen and lifesteal give you HP, flat amount of HP returned or healed, while armor just reduces the damage you take, right? So if you have 100 health and you reduce damage taken by 50%, then healing for 1 HP is kind of like healing for 2 HP. On the other hand, if you have 200 health with 0 armor, then you have to, you know, if you heal 1 HP, it's just 1 HP, right? So it's basically less valuable. Okay, and then insanity here, crit chance, so we're almost at 100%. More acid is perfectly fine, go ahead and take that. And the warrior helmet. Oh, this is interesting, this is a new item. I haven't really had the chance to take this. Enemies take 10% more damage for 3 seconds when first hit by elemental damage. I'm going to go ahead and take it here. I think it's completely fine. I'm also going to take the weird ghost. It might seem scary, right? Start the wave with 1 HP. We have 20 HP regen and 10% lifesteal. I'm not particularly scared. And then since we do have 6 daggers, right? We don't have 6 of these. We can combine these to get another stick and max out the primitive weapon tree. Now we have both of them maxed out. Or we have all 3 of them, right? Precise, elemental, and primitive. Okay. And then we also will lock the blood leech. Harvesting, we don't need. HP regen and lifesteal are both great. We can definitely take both of those. And you can see our damage is great now. We're pretty much just instantly wiping out these pursuers. Okay, easy enough, right? This wave, I think, once again, shouldn't be too hard once you get to this point. But if it feels like, for some reason, the wave is difficult, it might be because the buffers are causing you issues. So just be careful. Don't let them live for too long, because they do only make your job harder. So see this buffer here? I'm just going to run over and kill him, and then Don't have to deal with super high max HP enemies. Get rid of this one again. And that's it. Easy. Okay. Elemental damage. I kind of just want to take this because elemental damage is so much higher value than it normally is. Since we took the new item, the Frozen Heart, and then we also took a lot of elemental damage. We're at 23 elemental damage, plus we have an Ice Cube. So having all this elemental damage should just make it really easy for us. Cake is good. This can be good for the HP regen. It's pretty much just HP regen, right? All of these items, since we don't have them yet, getting one unique tier 1 item gives you more HP regen. In this case, we will take the Silver Bullet. And you know, we'll actually go ahead and lock this, because elemental damage is great. This, sure. We'll just go ahead and take some of everything, right? And you can see almost all our weapons are tier 2. Sorry, I was talking too much. I got hit. All our weapons are almost tier 2. Or only tier 2, I should say. Even though we're on wave 18. And that's just because we're the multitasker. It's really hard to get a lot of weapons upgraded when you have this many weapons, right? The game is balanced around only having 6 weapons. And even getting 6 weapons upgraded to tier 4 can be a little bit difficult for characters that don't make a lot of money. So you can imagine, with a multitasker who does not have anything related to money in his trades, I think it is impossible to get 6 tier 4 weapons on this character. I've never personally done that. The most I've had is, I'm actually not even sure. It might even just be, 7 or 8. And that's just also incredibly rare. So don't worry too much about your weapons being low tiers. I think getting them to tier 3, tier 2 is completely fine. Like this, yeah. Oh, this is interesting. So we can actually get maxed out crit, but the thing is we have so much crit that we're actually only getting 2%. So this is quite wasteful. Go ahead and get rid of it. This as well we don't need. Attack speed, armor. So we don't really need more armor. Attack speed could be good, but it's a tier 2. So we don't need more of that. Range. Damage. Or range. We'll take some range. I think 80 range is okay. Anything more than that is definitely overkill though. Yeah, you can see here we only have 3 tier 3 weapons as of right now. We can get another Alien Eyes, another Cyclops Worm. Go ahead and buy this next shop. And yeah, we even have a tier 1 weapon in our inventory actually. Didn't even notice him there. So yeah, this is the multitasker, guys. I don't think he's super strong by any means. He's definitely a perfectly fine character though. Shouldn't really struggle to win with him. I think the hardest character we've played so far maybe would be Old. I think Old is interesting because you get a lot of reduced enemy numbers, right? That's his passive. He's like the opposite of Loud. You get a small map and you get way less enemy spawns, which means you also get a lot less materials. But you do start out with some harvesting. So I think I usually play around harvesting when I do play him, as I said in my video. I think that's his strength, technically. But he does feel a lot weaker than, like, Old. Or, sorry, than Loud. It's funny as well, because Loud is just, old. Oh, yeah. Because they're kind of like counterparts, but Loud feels like the strongest character we played, and Old feels like maybe the weakest. So, okay, recycle. This gives us HP regen, might as well take it. And crit chance. So now we're fully capped on crit chance, and then we get a hunting trophy, interestingly. But we're not going to take it because it's the final wave. There's no point in taking this. Oh, we did get the tier 2 lightning ship, okay? We did manage to find that. And go ahead and buy all of these. Reroll. Oh wow, okay. So we got a scared sausage. It's actually quite good, right? Because we do have so much elemental damage. 3 times 38 burn. It's a lot of damage. One less reroll. One more. And we're poor. Okay. So you can see here, 6 tier 2 sticks, 2 tier 2 lightning ships, and 4 tier 3 lightning ships. But they're all tier 2 for the most part. Tier 2 and tier 3 only. And this is just a typical multitasker run. Nothing special. We even skipped we even skipped some things consistently that would make the run a lot easier, because I don't want to win a run with luck. We're just doing it with pretty much average luck, right? And you can see here, our damage isn't anything crazy. It's going to take us about 40 seconds to finish off both bosses. And we were even hitting both of them at the start. Yeah, it took about 40 seconds to clear this. But yeah, just I'd say in general, in a nice little normal 20 wave run, Multitasker is just a little bit average. Nothing super special, yeah? So yeah, our bags gave us 735 materials. Our bunny gave us 118 materials. Coupon 429, and the fairy 23 HP regeneration. So the fairy got nerfed, right? I mentioned this already. It used to be plus 2 HP regen and minus 2 HP regen. So the old fairy would have been giving us 44 HP regeneration on its own. Definitely deserved a nerf. It was way too strong. Good job nerfing this. And it's still very strong, as I said, right? This is almost like, this is translates into 4 tier 4 HP regen upgrades, which is just ridiculous. And then we also got the sausage at the end, 3000 damage. And that's it, yeah. Okay, you can see here, we only had 4 tier 3 weapons. So nothing super special. And yeah, you can do this again with a lot of weapons. I think the stick is just a consistent, easy weapon, very high base damage. And the lightning shiv has nice weapon traits, precise and elemental. Yeah, okay, hope you guys enjoyed. Next time we will be playing the wildling. Okay, so I hope you guys look forward to it and you watch the video. If you have any questions or comments, please leave it below and maybe leave a like and subscribe. Yeah, okay, goodbye. Bye bye.